guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, The Bright Side Girl, and I am coming to you from my favorites shelf. It is displayed a little bit today for the theme of our video, so this is normally my mermaid shelf that you can't see right now. But I am mixing it up today because we're doing a new type of video, so today we are going to do my bookish story time. This is going to be a new series that I'm starting. There aren't going to be that many videos in this series because I don't have a lot of story times around books, unfortunately. But basically what these are is I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite books, or even books that I didn't really like, and stories that I have that go along with the book. So whether it's like my reading experience or something that I did for the book or an event or whatever it is, and you guys will kind of get the point once I get into this one. So what inspired this was the story that I have around Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. So I've got my Harry Potter shirt on for you today and my Elder Wand necklace in preparation for this video. So we're just gonna get started. If you guys have not read this book by some crazy reason, just leave the video because there are gonna be spoilers in here. Just kind of like just a warning. So I started off reading the Harry Potter series like most people in my generation with book one, and I did it. My mom actually read it to me when I was about like 12 or 13 when they first came out, and I just don't remember really being that into it. I was kind of like on the fence. It wasn't hyped at all at the time. None of my friends were reading it, and I remember really liking it. But then, you know, it was another year or two before the next book came out, and I wasn't that invested. It was probably like 6 years later when I was like 18 where one of my really good guy friends had all the Harry Potter books that were out at the time. I think there were like 3 or 4, and he was like, oh my gosh, you have to read these, like you have to do it. And I was like, oh really? I thought I was too old now. And he was like, no, you really have to read them. And I was like, okay. So I read them and I got caught up, of course, and it took a long time for the 5th book to come out. And so at the time I was in a theater readers production of A Christmas Carol, and maybe I'll do a video on that later. And I just did not have a lot of time to read, or at least felt like I didn't have a lot of time to read, especially since the 5th book I think is the biggest book in the series. So I got it on audiobook and I listened to it for the first time that way. It is narrated by Jim Dale, who is my favorite male audio narrator. He is absolutely phenomenal, so much so that I went on a rampage and I re-listened to all 4 of the previous books via audiobook, and I listened to several others that he narrated. I tried to find anything that he narrated, like Peter and the Starcatchers and some other really great ones. And I really enjoyed it that way, so I decided to continue on with the series via audiobook. So that being said, the 6th one came out, and I remember being terrified in my room because Jim Dale is so good at making things like kind of creepy and scary. And then the 7th book was about to come out. Now I was 21 or 22 when this 7th book came out, and at the time I had a really good best friend named Hannah, and we agreed to read the book together because we were so excited and we were just so invested with like the movies and all the books and the fandom, and it was just such a special time that we decided to read it together and wait for each other. She was coming back from vacation the day that the book came out, and so she asked me to wait at least one day for her, so I stayed off social media and I got my book in the mail, and I didn't read it right away. And then I had a genius idea. I was like, well, I've been listening to them on audiobook anyway, and what better way to do it together than via audiobook. So I went and I scoured and I could not find the audiobook. I had to wind up going somewhere weird like Costco, and I spent like $70 buying the Deathly Hallows audiobook, which is just mind-blowing now considering that I can buy like 70 books for $70 and you can get audiobooks for free, but I definitely couldn't have gotten that one like that quickly. So anyway, that's besides the point. I got the audiobook, I found it, It was almost a 24-hour audiobook, and she was like totally on board. So when she came back from vacation, I came over like immediately and we locked ourselves in her bedroom. Now, at the time she was like 18, I think, and I'm like 22. So we're adults at this point, okay? And we're listening to this audiobook, and we decided to do like the long haul. So we listened to as much as we could before we just obviously could not stay awake anymore. I think it was like 3 in the morning. We slept for like 2, maybe 3 hours, and then immediately got up and started listening to it again. And we've been in her room like this entire time. The only time we left was in the morning. We like took the audio CD, because we had a physical CD, and put it in her car, and then we went and got coffee and breakfast. And what was really funny was we're in line to get the coffee, and we were right at the point where they were describing the Ministry of Magic after like all of the bad guys took over, and they're describing that like statue that's like in the front of the Ministry of Magic now, that's like a bunch of muggles and mudbloods and things like in the statue being like crushed or broken bones or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but right when we hear that point and Jim Dale's describing it like so well, we're like, ew. And it's just like right when the lady had handed me my coffee, like through the drive-through window, she was about to hand my friend Hannah her coffee, and so she thought that I had tried my coffee and thought it was disgusting, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, do you want me to make you a new coffee? And we're like, no, sorry, we're like listening to this audiobook and it's really gross. And she was like totally cracking up, because we were pausing it whenever she'd come to the window so she couldn't tell. So that was kind of funny. And then I think we went like one other place to get lunch, and we brought it with us, and that was it. So we're like hauled up in my friend's room. So we are at the part where they are finding the Horcrux locket, and my friend Hannah like pauses the video and she's like, oh my god, I know what this is from. So she runs over and picks up the, I'm pretty sure it was the Order of the Phoenix. She literally like opens it to the middle and like scrolls down the page and finds the line that says, and they found a locket that no one could open. And my mind was like blown with her Harry Potter memory skills, because then we had just found out that it was a Horcrux and that was what was going on. So that was kind of crazy. But anyway, we're in, you know, we're crying because people are dying and like all of this crazy stuff is happening, and we're like trying not to fall asleep because we have had very little sleep and it's really long, and we didn't have the option to like speed up the narration, which is like a lifesaver now. So we are in the Hogwarts battle, like towards the end, and my phone rings, and it's my mom, and she's just like, what are you doing? What do you want to do today? And I literally scream into the phone, we're in the middle of a battle, I'll have to call you back. And she has no idea at this point that I'm like locked up listening to Harry Potter with Hannah. She just thinks that we're like having a sleepover. And she's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'll call you later. So she didn't even know like what I was talking about, and I had to explain to her that we were like in the Hogwarts battle. And to this day, it's one of my favorite memories and one of like her favorite stories to tell. She just thought that was so funny, and I thought it was so funny how she reacted to it. Like me and my mom are so close, and she's so good. She's just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. And then we're like almost to the end, and my friend Hannah's dad, who was also reading the book at the time, like we all had 3 copies of this audiobook or of this physical book in the house, and we were like listening to it. He was reading his physical copy. He comes into the room and he's got the book. I think we have like an hour left, and we've been listening to it for almost a day, and he's like got the book like this, and he's like, you guys want to know how it ends? And so we like grab whatever is nearest to us and like throw it at him, and we're like, get out of here. And he's like, just kidding, I'm on like page 20. So that was really funny. But we just had such an amazing time listening to it, and it was like such a bonding experience, and we're like falling asleep and we're crying and we're laughing and we're just rewinding things to like really get it like into our souls. And it was such a special time. So at the very end, when we finish it and we're like so satisfied and happy, and then like really sad because you feel like part of your childhood is over, but really stoked because the movie's still coming out, she just looks at me and she's like, I kind of don't think I need to see you for a while. And I was like, ditto. because we'd spend 24 hours hauled up listening to this audiobook together doing nothing else, which at the time was really impressive considering that we had cell phones, and I don't think I had like internet access on my phone yet. Like, this is making me sound really old, but you know, if you can do that, like focus on something like that and not do, like, we weren't doing anything else. We weren't like doing coloring books or crafts. We were literally just like laying or sitting and listening to the audiobook, and it was just such an awesome experience. And I love like stories like that and experiences like that because they don't come very often. When there is like major hype around a book, like with this and Twilight and Hunger Games, which I'll have story times on soon, it's just such a special time. And part of the reason people love it so much is not just because the book is fun and the book is good and whatever, it's because of the bonding experience that you have with your friends and your family and your coworkers and maybe people that don't even normally read. And so I just really enjoyed my time. It's one of my favorite memories of all time. And this book wound up being my favorite because of the combined experience of the listening to it with a friend and giving it my like whole heart. So anyway, hopefully you guys found this funny and entertaining. I thought this was kind of a neat video. I want to hear like your guys' stories if you have like stories and emotions around books rather than just being like, oh my gosh, I loved it, you know, it was amazing, like an actual physical thing that happened to you, like with my friends and the drive-thru and stuff like that. So I will be doing a few more of these. I don't have a ton of stories around books, but I'll try and come up with some more and like sprinkle them out throughout the years. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you guys have great Harry Potter memories like I do, and I'll see you guys next time on The Bright Side. Bye!